What it do, sports fans? Welcome back to the JJO Sports Talk Show. Once again, I'm your host, Jordan Jean Louis, back with another episode. And oh boy, oh boy, oh man, we have a lot to talk about on today's episode or tonight's episode. Now, first things first. Um, let's just get right into the meat and potatoes of this episode. So last week, about this time, Kevin Durant, um, he put the NBA world, he put the NBA world upside down with him requesting a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, before I get into it with the whole trade and KD trade, let me break it down. So back in the 2019-2020 campaign, the Nets, Sean Marks, I forget the owner's name, something Tasai. They brought together the triplet of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. Now, the whole NBA world expected the whole NBA world expected the big three to do big things in Brooklyn with how James Harden can shoot the three, Kyrie can have the ball handling skills, and Kevin Durant, one of the top five best players in the league. They didn't really gel together on the court. They didn't really play enough games together. And so last week, Kyrie was contemplating on leaving the Brooklyn Nets. And before the deadline, there was talks about if he was going to go to the Lakers or because the whole story was if he opted out and he wanted to go to the Lakers, he was gonna miss out on $30 million. Let me repeat that. If he was gonna go to the Lakers with him opting out, he would miss out on $30 million. But the opt-in and the opt-out deadline hit, and Kyrie opted in to get his $30 million. Now, fast forward, Kevin Durant out of nowhere put the NBA world on its high end. Apparently there were some issues like steaming, with Harden getting traded, getting shipped off to Philadelphia. Them bringing in Ben, Kyrie not playing games because vaccination status and the whole shenanigans on the side. A lot was going on, and it's something in Katie's mind was like, nah, like I had to get the hell out of here ASAP. So he went to the general manager's office, Sean Marks, and told the front office straight up, I want to request a trade. Now Kyrie, let me see. So Brooklyn, this is so interesting because Brooklyn has leverage as to where Kevin Durant would go and would send Durant because Durant is still on a 4-year, $198 million contract with the Nets. And this is what was so surprising. There was so many years left and so much money on the table for Kevin Durant to play with the Nets, and he wanted out. So it'll be different. It'll be different if he finishes out his contract, his 4-year contract, and he can request a trade and sign wherever he wants to sign. This is different. He was still under contract, 4-year, $198 million. And the Nets and KD had put the NBA world on notice and on a halt because teams are not. We've seen some signings, some trades happen, but a lot of teams are hesitant to make a trade because they're trying to build up some scenarios of how they can land the star. Because most teams don't have enough money to sign that star because Kevin Durant is one of the top 10 players in the league currently right now with his star status. So obviously with his star status, he's going to be wanting more money. So a lot of teams are not really like in the running for KD. The KD sweepstakes. This kind of reminds me. Don't get me wrong. This reminds me of the Kawhi Leonard year when after they won the championship with Toronto against the Golden State Warriors a couple years ago, and how Kawhi, what's going on? Like, is Kawhi going to sign with back with the Toronto and run it back, or is he going to go somewhere else? And he decided to go. He decided to shock everyone and go to the Clippers. And then it was Paul George right behind him. He was with the he signed with the Clippers right behind Kawhi. So a lot was going on, and this kind of reminds you of this thing. Like, KD is not really saying much in the media as to where he wants to go, and things are a mess. So same thing. If Kevin Durant goes, then Kyrie's out, probably guaranteedly. So the Nets don't want to receive lackluster players from the Durant trade. They're looking to bring back a huge, gigantic haul of players in exchange for Kevin Durant. So it came out that Kevin Durant had a couple of teams he wanted to either go to the Phoenix Suns. I think Miami. I think one other team was on his list. But obviously, Phoenix. I mean, DeAndre Ayton wants out because that's a whole other story, a whole other issue to talk about. They got Devin Booker. They got Chris Paul. Listen, don't get me wrong. If Kevin Durant ends up with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, oh my gosh, man, the West is going to be scary. It's going to be scary. But the issue is the Phoenix Suns don't want to give up Devin Booker because they feel like, he's still a young player. He's elite at his position, and they don't want to give up that player for Kevin Durant. And I had a funny, like, kind of cool analogy. So think of it as, so you're the Brooklyn Nets, right? And you are a homeowner. You're trying to build, your own house from scratch, right? And you go to the living room, right? And you're like, okay, I want this couch here, this desk here, this desk here in this corner, this table and this rug in the middle of this room, right? They don't want to buy the lamps before the tables, right? Because there's no point of having a living room with just lamps and no desk to stand on it, right? So I think about that. Like, the Nets are the homeowners, right? They want to find a centerpiece. They don't want to just get like a let me think about it, like a rookie or a sixth man for Kevin Durant, So they want more. So that's a cool analogy. Like, so they want cornerstones to help them, because the Brooklyn Nets, they're not really in a rebuilding mode. They want, if they lose Kyrie and KD, they want to get players in return because they are in championship mode now. I mean, think about it. The Nets were in the playoffs. They don't want to go back. We're backward. They want to go forward. So I think about that. Just think about that, like how you want some pieces to your living room that to make it look sexy, to make it look beautiful. And KD is that center table of the rug. You know what I'm saying? He is that important piece, and all the other pieces around him will make him better. Right? So, so KD is owed $198 million over the next 4 years with no trade clause, which gives them the freedom, like I said earlier, for Brooklyn to trade him to any team or any of the 29 teams that they seek to trade him to without his approval. Because the Nets have more of the power. Like I said, it would have been different if he would have played out his 4 years, got his money, and then he could have signed wherever he wanted to. Now I'm gonna break it down, some trade proposals that possibly could work, but who knows? These trades might not work, might not. But so only 11 teams have their own future first round picks to give up Phoenix Suns, the New Orleans Pelicans, the Toronto Raptors have the advantage over the other teams in the league because they have teams. They're the teams that have like stockpiles of trades. So when you're looking at a Kevin Durant trade, be looking out for some players and some first round draft picks because all these teams that were kind of like low on the totem pole, the record pole, they get more draft picks. Even though the Pelicans were in the playoffs, they get more. I think they got that the first rounder from the Lakers, I think, in the Russell Westbrook trade, I believe. But since KD is arguably one of the best players currently in the league, he might have a little say of where he wants to go. Like he might want to dictate where he wants to go, but he doesn't really have much to say because, like I said, Brooklyn has the leverage. Actually, this is just in today. Just today, the Nets asked if they could get Cat, which is Carl Anthony Towns, their big man, and Anthony Edwards, and a whopping number of draft picks in exchange for Kevin Durant. Obviously, we all know who are into sports. The Timberwolves declined that trade because obviously Anthony Edwards is a freaking monster. If you've seen him play, and Cat, stretch five, probably one of the best bigs, probably in the league right now, probably top 10, top 15, when he's healthy. And now they just traded for Rudy Gobert, so it'll kind of help him out on the other block. So obviously they immediately declined that trade. That's the problem with like free agency with these big players. Like when you are, it doesn't matter if you're in the Western Conference or Eastern Conference. It's hard. Think about it, like being in the owner, like an owner's shoes, right? Imagine like you had like Devin Booker or like Trae Young, like Luka Doncic, one of the young stars, and you giving up all that success that you drafted them, you built around them just to get a. I mean, obviously, any team would like to trade for Kevin Durant. Don't get me wrong, but think about it. Like, why would Phoenix Suns like deal Devin Booker when he's on like a 5-year deal? He's getting that bread. He loves Phoenix. Obviously, he would look good in Brooklyn, but the Phoenix are not willing to give up. I mean, they have a good coach in Monte Williams. Why would they give up so much stuff to give up to get Kevin Durant? I mean, Kevin Durant is not getting young either. I mean, yeah, he's still a good player. He still can produce, but like he's getting old with age as well. Like, but he's still the best player in the league. But that's the problem. Like you're going to see some teams like in these coming weeks, Brooklyn asking teams to give them some of their best stars. Like I said, because Brooklyn they need like cornerstones. Because once Kyrie and Durant leave Brooklyn, they're going to need some help. I'm hearing Joe Harris is off for trade. Joe Harris, he might come to the Lakers. I heard about that. So be prepared because I have my ESPN app and my Bleacher Report and all my apps. They blow up every day about trades and stuff. And don't be surprised if you see teams decline trades, just like what the Timberwolves did. Like, why would you? I mean, that's where it's like tricky because like, why did you give up two of your best players for one player? Even though that player can obviously turn that franchise around for the better. But the Timberwolves made it clear today that they don't want to do that trade because like they like the pieces that they have around. Like, Karl Anthony Towns was a first round pick and Anthony Edwards. And by the way, if you haven't checked out that movie Hustle with Adam Sandler, oh, it's great. He's in that movie, Anthony Edwards. It's a good movie. Check that out. But yeah, like they declined the trade. Then also I heard that the Nets GM Sean Marks and Lakers GM Rob Pelinka are scheduled to meet during the NBA Summer League to discuss a Kyrie deal. So now, I mean, this is where things get kind of like interesting because like I said, not many teams are trading. I mean, the Lakers got Lonnie Walker, they got Juan Toscano Anderson, they have Damian Jones. Some other teams are making trades, but like a lot of teams are on halt right now because they're waiting to see. They're waiting to see where Kevin Durant goes, and then after the Kevin Durant goes and Kyrie goes, um, you're gonna start seeing teams make more trades. But this is where it gets tricky, man. So let me lay out a couple of possible trades. This is from SpeedTimes.com. So the first one was the first one was so Phoenix and Nets. So the Nets receive DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, and three future first round draft picks. And Phoenix receives Kevin Durant. Now, like I said, KD in the Western Conferences, I mean, like, oh, there's some talks that he might go back to the Golden State Warriors, which that's crazy. I don't. I mean, that's where my issue lies. Like, why the Warriors are fresh off a championship? They got a ring with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Curry. Why give up so many? I mean, they had James Wiseman, which he was out all year with that I think the knee injury. The question is, why would you give up so many players? I mean, I think Jordan Poole got sent to Portland, but why would you send so? Why would you like risk all those good assets for Kevin Durant? I mean, he already has rings with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, let other players shine. You got let the Moses Moody's get some shine. The Wiseman when gets healthy. Let let them other players get the shine. But I like this trade because obviously there'll be a big three in Phoenix because the whole point of teams trying to shift people around is to defend the Warriors because they have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Like they have Kuminga coming up, young player. But this trade is pretty good. It's pretty good. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. So the next trade is Miami Heat and the Nets. So the Nets receive. So don't be wrong. These are just trades that are out there, not official. But so Miami Heat. Actually, these two teams are on his list. Nets receive Nets receive Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, rookie Nikola Jovic, and 3 first-round picks in next year's draft, and 3 future first-round picks in the future draft. So as I'm reading these trades, you see a trend. You see keep cornerstones of a person's team or teams of an organization's team or players, and then you see draft picks. Sorry about that. But so yeah, I mean this trade. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Kevin Durant in Miami? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a dream team for him. You know, him with Bam Adebayo. But I don't think to Tyler Hero, he could be a cornerstone for Miami. Like I don't know why they would give up Tyler Hero, but like I said, any team if they had the money in the cap space, because don't get wrong, the NBA is not like Major League Soccer or like Premier League Soccer. There's no or MLB in the NBA. There is no 14-year, $300 million contracts in the NBA. They're in the cap space. So don't get me wrong. If teams around the league had enough cap space to sign Durant, they would. But teams don't have that leverage. That's why many teams are out of the market to get Durant. So the next trade proposal is the Toronto Raptors. Nets receive OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., and 4 future first-round picks plus cash. Raptors get Kevin Durant. I don't know if I like this trade. I mean, they have Fred VanVleet. They have Scotty Barnes, Rookie of the Year. They have other players, but I don't. I see him. I see Kevin Durant going to a Western Conference team, um, but it all remains to be seen of where he goes. Now, this next team trade is pretty wild. So Grizzlies. So the Nets get Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks, Zaire Williams, and 4 future first round draft picks, and in exchange for Kevin Durant. So him pairing up with John Morant and Steven Adams. I mean, that's a big three. That's a big three in and of itself. I mean, that's crazy. Um, like I said, I mean, like not there's certain teams they're not in the running for Kevin Durant, but there's some teams that are in the running for him. And you know, it's wild. It's wild. Now, this trade is crazy. The Los Angeles Lakers, even though this is a stretch trade, so there's two options that or two routes they can go. Nets receive Anthony Davis, Lakers get Kevin Durant, or Nets get Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Austin Reeves, plus 2 first round draft picks. Drum roll, please. In exchange for Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Now, I had mad love for my boy AD, but my boy is injury prone. See now, if I'm the Lakers, I'll be on the call with Sean Marks all day, 24/7, trying to make this happen. Because I would rather have Kevin Durant, even though he's coming off an Achilles injury. Um, he's not as injury prone as AD. Like, don't get me wrong, AD is a top 5 big man in the league when he's healthy, but the man cannot stay healthy all year. He's a liability, and LeBron can't do him all himself. So imagine if Russell Westbrook goes to the Brooklyn Nets. Russell doesn't give the Lakers that consistent 3-point like shooting ability. But imagine with Kyrie at the 1, possibly I'm not sure he's gonna be at the 2. Maybe Lonnie Walker at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Katie at the 4, and they got a Damian Jones maybe, or they got to find another big man at the 5. But I mean, if AD can stay healthy, I wouldn't trade that for KD. But like, if I'm the Lakers, I would be getting on the phone with their GM, their owner, and talking about a possibility of a trade. If that is scary, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and LeBron on the same team, that's like an all-star team. Now, I know that the NBA world is going to be blown up about this trade if this trade happens, because this whole thing about the super teams and everything, people joining up to be better. That's a whole other conversation in a different day. But that's a scary trade. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. I'm not sure, but we'll see what's gonna happen. I mean, they said that this can linger into training camp, which starts, I think, in October or September. No, I think it starts in August, September. Games start in October around. That's when the season starts. Right now, it's summer league right now, and that's where I want to transition into the next topic. So everyone's talking about the number 2 overall pick, Chet Holmgren, to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chet was picked number 2 to the Oklahoma City Thunder in this year's draft, and has surprised a lot of people with his play in his first 2 summer league games. So let me break it down for y'all. So his shooting ability. First and foremost, if you had not seen this dude Chet, he played for Gonzaga in college. He is a 7-foot big man that can shoot like a point guard. 2 of his first 3 shots 2 of his first 3 shots came off a pick and pop play, and his third shot, he cut across the top of the 3-point line for a catch and shoot shot. There are a select few big men, stretch fives, who can shoot the 3 ball at a high of a rate. And he only played in 2 games so far in summer league, and is showing flashes of what he can be in the league when the season starts. NBA experts are seeing versions of a young Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant we all know, is probably one of the best tallest players in the league at his height that can create the shot off the dribble. Now, his shot blocking ability, Holcomb was listed as having a 7'6" wingspan, which gives him the ability to get around screens with ease and still have the ability to block shots on the perimeter. His potential ability to block the perimeter shots is not the only thing that the 7-footer can do. He can also switch and guard the point guard position and has the ability to get back to the paint and force the opponents to make difficult shots at the rim. Yeah, this man Chet, man, I get mad props to my boy Banchero. He went number 1. Number 2 went to Chet. Number 3 went to Jabari Smith. But Chet Holmgren, I was on Instagram or on watching ESPN. He made a nice Dirk Nowitzki-esque turnaround jump shot, just like Dirk. This player can be, when he gets older and gets more accustomed to the league more, he can be a Dirk Nowitzki, man. He's lengthy. He can shoot over tall defenders. He can shoot over short defenders, and it's scary. I think he was sitting out in today's summer league game because he's gonna play in a couple days. He's resting up, but yeah, Chet, man, he's nice, man. I'm excited to see the Magic play tonight, because to see my boy Banchero play in his first summer league game this year at 10 o'clock. So once again, this will do it for tonight's episode. It was a short one. I'm Jordan Jean-Louis, host of the JJL Sports Talk Show. You can follow me on Instagram at JJL_XO. And once I upload it, it'll be on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. But then again, thank you so much. And be on the lookout for a KD trade in the coming weeks to months, because this is exciting. So we'll be back in a couple of days with some new information. Thank you so much for following. See y'all later.